Yo, what up, everyone? Welcome to the Ant-Man channel. It is Tuesday, the 28th of July, 2015. I've got an article in front of me. It's titled, headline, Planned Parenthood President Cecile Richards compares pro-lifers to murderers. And this is from ChristianPost.com under the column of U.S., and it is by Ray Nothstein, a Christian Post reporter. This was published yesterday around 5:11. Cecile Richards on the thumbnail, president of Planned Parenthood or Butcherhood, talks with George Stephanopoulos on the ABC this week on Sunday, July 26th, 2015. Cecile Richards, president of Planned Parenthood, accused the Center for Medical Progress, of being part of the most militant wing of the anti-abortion. Militant. You got to pay attention to progressive liberal rhetoric, jargon, nonsense, because they use words to play games. And this is a word that they're using very strategically to demonize people that are pro-lifers or anyone who's a conservative, Republican, libertarian, Bible believer, anyone who's on the right wing. Militant. They want to paint us as emotionally governed and wanting to go around imposing our religious ideologies on other people when really that's not true. And that's why they try to indoctrinate you with with National Pornographic or Geographic and the History Channel with Christians go around murdering people for thousands of years because of their religion. Well, that's a gigantic misinterpretation, and in my opinion, a lie designed to point people against the living God and to point people toward being government dependent and whatnot. All of this has an agenda. History's taught the way that it is by design, and it's so that you don't adopt the ideologies of the American founding of the heritage of America and all of the things that make you self-sustaining and a free thinker, someone who isn't going to be a government dependent zombie. They don't want that. So remember that's that word play, that word game that they try to do. Part of the most militant wing of the anti-abortion movement, while asserting the pro-life group is linked to organizations that bomb clinics and murder doctors. Yep, that's us. That's why you see more and more on Fox News or all the other ABC category, mainstream media, government-owned, propaganda machines are trying to paint us as homegrown terrorists. They're trying to stage some kind of a tragic event. We call them false flags. They're staging these things and trying to pin it on people that have don't tread on me hats, and they're they try to make us all seem like we're white trash or whatever. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to steer a lot of people to be hostile against us. You're not going to hear this in Sunday school or at church, but this is actually what's going on here. And you could see right past it if you read between the lines. You could see what they're doing. Richards made the accusations during her Sunday appearance on ABC's This Week with host and former political staffer for President Bill Clinton, George Stephanopoulos. The folks behind this are part of the most militant wing of the anti-abortion movement that has been behind the bombings of clinics, the murder of doctors in their homes and in their churches. And that is what needs to be looked at, Richards argued. This is a lie that could have came from the very mouth of Satan, because this woman is just all about making millions of dollars off of selling body parts of aborted fetuses or infants. This, in my opinion, points to the total depravity that we have now reached in our culture today, where everything's just about making money. If you can make money, then morality doesn't really matter, because if something's working for you and you can go live in this bubblegum Hollywood plastic culture, and then everything's fine. You mingle with everyone and you blend in, right? But no, I think that there's something evil and creepy about someone who just says, hey, whatever, about this kind of thing, Because when you look at the truth of Scripture, it says that we're all made in the image of God and that everybody deserves to have their, soul respected and have all of that be guarded and whatnot. It's sacred. You know what I mean? It's a sacred thing. Life is a sacred thing, and we should respect the lives of unborn human beings. They can't even stand up for themselves. We have to stick up for them, us people who know better. Just because the culture is worshiping pretty much money and following Aleister Crowley and Margaret Sanger type ideologies, we don't need to to adopt that. We don't need to compromise, or we don't need to, just for peace and goodness sake, just want to just turn a blind eye to all this. If that's where you're being led, get away from the weak leadership today in the church, because there's so much weak leadership in the church today. They're not willing to stand up against a lot of these things the way that you should be, and you should be more vigilant, and you should be making more of a stand, because I mean, it's not that you're gonna change the world, you know what I mean, or anything, but you're gonna be more pleasing to God, and you're gonna be honoring Him more by standing up to it. So don't worry about what other people are doing, but know what the truth is and follow through with it for your own sake, right? While Stephanopoulos didn't ask Richards to elaborate on her accusation about the Center for Medical Progress being linked to murderers, her assertion might be tied to a left-wing Media Matters report claiming links between CMP and the pro-life group Operation Rescue. Media Matters and other pro-choice advocacy groups further claim that Operation Rescue was once linked to Scott Roeder, who was convicted of killing late-term abortionist George Tiller in 2010. CP contacted CMP regarding the allegations, but did not receive comment by press time. During her interview on This Week, Richards continued to assert her original argument from 2 weeks ago, in which she said the first video was highly selectively edited. She also told Stephanopoulos that CMP was on a mission to entrap doctors. While she admitted that the two Planned Parenthood medical officials, they're officials. I really loathe when people use those. When people say I'm a scientist or I'm an official or whatever, oh please, get over yourself. I mean, it's just, man, we live in times where people are they get caught up in this progressive stuff, man. Don't let anyone talk down to you and talk to you like you're a child and you can't understand anything, and that you need to listen to them, because that's really the people you don't need to be listening to. Those that have lofty words and they're always flattering with their tongue. Should be very, very careful about who you listen to. I don't even tell you to listen to me. Don't even take my word for it. Go and look up all this stuff for yourself. If I can see this stuff, and I'm not a genius, I'm not so brilliant that I figured all this stuff out on my own. I just listen to smart people. If I could figure this stuff out, I think anyone can, because I'm not a genius. I'm not the most talented brainiac in the world. I'm really not. Humbly, I mean, I'm not, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You just pay attention, you observe, Watson, and you will see for yourself. So, while she admitted that the two Planned Parenthood medical officials were reprimanded for their tone in the videos, she contends that the nation's largest abortion provider, which receives over $500 million in taxpayer funding every year, has broken no laws. Man, we can just define whatever we want to call whatever we want nowadays, man. I am a believer of the flying spaghetti monster, and you can't tell me I'm wrong. And if I believe that the flying spaghetti monster is telling me to take your wallet out of your back pocket by force, you cannot tell me that I'm wrong, because in my world, anything that goes and anything is right for me, and whatever's right for you is right for you, right? That's America today, guys. That's the kind of rhetoric and word games that people try to play. But look up definitions to words for once in your life and see that there are fixed meanings in words, and that you can't just change the meaning of a word to be convenient to whatever kind of lifestyle you want to live or whatever you want to justify as okay. It's not okay. Okay? The only reason you are able to be understanding what I'm saying, and that it's not unintelligible, is because words have fixed meanings. We have a language. There are rules as to what vocabulary and making complete sentences, how that works. There are rules to this stuff. You can't just simply just go outside of the rules to, you're not fooling me. You can fool whoever it is that falls for your boasting, proud attitude, whoever falls intimidated to that. But you shouldn't, because you should know that your mind is powerful. You should know that you could see through these things. Stephanopoulos then countered Richards by noting that CMP has released the full versions of the first two videos, but she disregarded his query and repeated Planned Parenthood's talking points, insisting the videos were misleading and selectively edited. I doubt that. There's no sign of editing at all in them. I've seen them. They're not misleading, because you hear it straight from the horse's mouth what they're doing. You have to be completely retarded to believe what she's saying. I'm sorry if that's offensive to you, but you would have to be retarded and not be able to use your mind right if you think that she has a point. She doesn't have any point. She doesn't have any excuse. That is just straight up what they're doing. Is they are in the business of harvesting humans and selling them. You want to talk about creepy, man? I mean, that's about as creepy as you get, right? This entire effort is a complete political smear campaign, declared Richards, who accused the organization of setting up a fake company using fake government. Excuse me. This website, for some reason, it likes to refresh itself, and it can be quite obnoxious sometimes. Fake government IDs and faking tax filings. Okay. You have to prove that if you're going to make that kind of accusation, first of all. When asked about the prevalence of Planned Parenthood clinics harvesting aborted baby tissue, Richards told Stephanopoulos that the practice is occurring in fewer than 5 states. Oh, everyone else is doing it, why not? But that's her justification, do you hear? We have thrown the baby out with the bathwater. We have no precedence anymore. We just do whatever we want now. And it's just, hey, we pretend like that there's nothing wrong. It's if people are that desensitized, you can actually see what their lifestyle may be like. They watch 8 hours of television a day. They're desensitized because they're attracted to probably watching violence all day. Watching, a lot of people these days waste their time on their social media looking at violence all day long. And they wonder why they don't care about anybody. And they wonder why it's so hard for them to step into someone else's life to help them out and be generous and be compassionate. They wonder why they're so timid to ever do anything right. Because they think, and because this kind of stuff does influence your mind to believe that evil gets away with what it does. And it doesn't. No, you're not getting away. Even if you are practicing evil right now, you will answer to the judge after this life. So whether you get away with it now or whatnot, you're not getting away with it in the long term, in the final analysis. So, tissue donations. Okay, when asked about the prevalence, Richards told Stephanopoulos that, okay, everyone else is doing it, but didn't name the states such as California, Texas, and others that have the highest rates of abortion. Tissue donations from aborted babies is legal if patients give consent and an organization is not directly profiting from the transaction. So again, tissue donations from aborted babies is legal if patients give consent and an organization is not directly profiting from the transaction. And that's not exactly what is happening here. They are profiting from it. But Abby Johnson, a former Planned Parenthood director, told CP that legal loopholes allow for wide flexibility for the abortion industry to manipulate the law to their advantage. Johnson added there is money to be made for Planned Parenthood. There's a lot of money in chopping up babies today, you guys. Does it make it right? Does it make it right? That you're going to become prosperous, you're going to have a Lamborghini, you're going to have a 2-story house, all your friends are going to like you, your family's going to like you, everyone's going to love you. But does it make it right? Does it make it right? That's the question. Because, money and you doing good in life, people love that. Oh, do people love that? Heaven forbid you're going through something and you need help, though. Because then people are like, not so much, they don't like you too much. Richards also countered Stephanopoulos' question on whether Planned Parenthood is profiting or haggling over prices, saying that only organization engaged in those practices is the CMP. I look forward to the facts coming out, adds Richards. House Democrats have called for an investigation into CMP, while the U.S. Attorney General's office has said it will look into all aspects of the released videos. Friday, California's Attorney General Kamala Harris, a Planned Parenthood supporter, said she plans to investigate CMP to see if their actions against the abortion provider were lawful. According to The Hill, the Senate will soon vote on legislation to defund Planned Parenthood. However, the White House said it will not agree to any legislation to strip the organization of federal funding. Do you see who your government is, people? I hope. I really do. Because when the government starts pontificating and saying that they have control over these things, beware, my friend, beware. We could go into other issues as well, like what we call marriage nowadays. What we say is okay with that. What's next? Who's to say we're not all going to jail next? Because if they try to, God have mercy on you if you're a pastor and someone comes up to you and says, hey, let's go into this church, and if they don't marry us, we can make a big deal out of it. We could get them put in prison. We could start getting our agenda through more and more. Who's to say that's not next? You know what I mean? There's stuff coming that we should be very vigilant to watch out for. God bless.